I got some good news, bad news when it comes to climate change and the American public's perception that it's actually happening, their acceptance of the science behind climate change. First, the good news, and there's two parts to it. So overall, at least 70% of Americans now believe that global warming during the last 40 years is real and supported by solid evidence, which many outlets are saying is the highest level of acceptance in recent history, which is depressing by itself, by the way, that 30% of all Americans haven't gotten the message or just don't accept the message that scientists almost uniformly agree that climate change is happening and it's happening because of human activity. But more importantly than just 70% of Americans accepting it, look at what has happened to Republican acceptance over just the last almost a year. The survey found that there was a dramatic drop during just the past year in the number of self-identified Republicans who doubt the existence of climate change, dropping from 41% last fall to 26% now. That represents almost losing something like 50% of the opposition in that time, a little bit less than that. But that means a significant number of Republicans who didn't accept it before, in the span of just 1 year, now do. But there is bad news as well. People are off. This is one of the men involved in the study. People are often responding to their perception of weather or weather experience. Rather than look at scientific journals or UN reports, they have a tendency to look at what last summer or winter was like. So the drought issue has made those numbers go up dramatically. And that's the bad thing. If you have a hot summer and a drought and people hear about it and see it in the news, they think, oh, that means climate change is happening. But then if you have snowmageddon, they think, oh, well, then it couldn't be happening. When those things are weather, they're not climate. Weather is a specific act, a weather event, literally. Whereas climate is much broader and over a longer period of time. It's general trends. Those are the things that are changing. We're not principally concerned with weather. Now, changes in climate will lead to changes in weather, but changes in weather don't necessarily give you a good idea of what changes in climate might be happening. And that's sort of the disappointing thing. That after all this time of focusing on the fact that scientists agree, we're not saying that so that people just say, oh, well, if these authorities agree, then if they agree, then I'll just go along with it. It's so that they then can look into it or realize that it's not about just agreeing, it's about looking for the data. It's about finding the information and noticing the trends. The scientists didn't just get swayed by persuasion. They looked at the information, and so you too should look at the information, America. So anyway, it's good that the numbers are as high as they are in terms of the acceptance. The bad thing is that if we have a bad winter, it seems like this doesn't give us much reason to believe that those numbers won't drop again. And considering the risks that increasing climate change pose, not just to us in America, but around the world, to trade, to food, to medicine, migrations of people, the possibility of civil and intercountry war, I think we need to base it on something a little bit stronger than whether or not it rained recently.